This grammar mini unit is going to be on parts of speech. You need your guided notes and a pencil to be ready for the Prezi. If you'll take a look at the 8 different parts of speech that are seen in the picture on the right. Sorry, the Prezi says left, but you're actually looking on the right. The different parts of speech are nouns, adjectives, verbs, pronouns, conjunctions, adverbs, interjections, and prepositions. Each part of speech has a lot of different parts of speech within. For example, nouns have abstract, common nouns, etc. If you remember our vocabulary video that we watched yesterday, the people who are rapping in the video are talking about all the different parts of speech. That's what we're going to be covering today. Go ahead and look on your guided notes at the section marked nouns. A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. These are things that you've been talking about since kindergarten. If you look at the picture on the right, it shows different things, different places, one person, the baby at the top. There's a big difference between proper nouns and common nouns. Proper nouns usually start with a capital letter, and they usually are talking about a specific person, place, or thing. Common nouns are usually talking about things that can exist everywhere. For example, I can have an apple at my house, I can have an apple at school, and there can be an apple on a tree in an orchard somewhere in California. They're not specific things. The apples all exist in different places. There's 2 other types of nouns called abstract nouns and concrete nouns. Abstract nouns are usually ideas. These are things that you cannot physically touch. If you look at your guided notes, there's a section for you to write a few things about abstract nouns. Concrete nouns are nouns that you can actually touch. These are people, places, and objects. There's a section on your guided notes for you to write down a few things about concrete nouns. Pronouns take the place of a noun. If you're talking about a person, place, or thing, but you don't want to actually say the person's name or the title of the place, you can replace it with these types of pronouns: you, he, she, it, his, her, they, us, we, are, and there's many others. Can you think of any more? There are spaces on your guided notes for you to write down a few more pronouns and for you to give some examples. There's 3 types of pronouns that we're going to discuss this year. They're possessive, reflexive, and personal pronouns. A possessive pronoun usually is discussing something that you own. If you possess something, then you own it. So, therefore, possessive pronouns show ownership. I gave you 3 examples on the Prezi. Her purse belongs to her, his watch belongs to him, and your dog belongs to you. These are all possessive pronouns. If you look at your guided notes, there are places for you to write a few examples of your own. Reflexive pronouns are pronouns that reflect the antecedent that comes at the beginning. In the example that I gave you, Mary washed her clothes. Mary is the antecedent, the person that is reflecting the word her. Mary washed her clothes. The pronoun reflects the word Mary. A personal pronoun is a pronoun that replaces a particular person. Instead of saying Mary walked, because that would sound silly if your name is Mary, then you would just say I walked. That's considered a personal pronoun. Look at your guided notes and make sure you fill in every single thing that you need to fill in for possessive, reflexive, and personal pronouns. Adjectives are something that you've been doing once again since kindergarten. They describe nouns or pronouns. Here are a few examples of adjectives: lovely, soft, green, for, terrible. All of these words describe a noun. If you would like to say the bed was soft, then you're describing how the bed felt. If you talk about green beans, they are beans that are green. That is describing what the beans look like or what color the beans are. If you look at the picture to the right, it gives you a few thinking clouds to kind of think about what kind of adjectives you would like to use to define certain nouns. if something feels like, if something tastes like, if something sounds like, the size and the weight of an object. Usually colors and numbers are considered nouns because they describe how many and what color, and if something smells like. Those are all considered adjectives. I asked you 2 questions on the left that you can fill in on your guided notes. What are some adjectives that describe a birthday party? And what are some adjectives that describe a funeral? They're obviously going to be different because there's a different feel to both of those events. We're going to talk about 3 different kinds of adjectives: positive, comparative, and superlative. A positive adjective is just the basic. This is a big piece of cheese. Then, when you go to a comparative adjective, you're comparing it to another piece of cheese. So you would say something like, this piece of cheese is bigger than this piece of cheese. Your superlative adjective is going to be the largest, the palest, the sharpest, the worst. It's the most extreme of any adjective that you're talking about. Therefore, the biggest piece of cheese is going to be the superlative form of the adjective big. There are a few sections on your guided notes where you can fill out positive, comparative, and superlative nouns. Make sure you do that now. Adverbs are words that can describe verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. Before you even look at what I've written on the left, look at the picture on the right. Adverbs describe how something is done, how often something is done, when something is done, and where something is done or where something happens. All of the words in the adverbs box are describing how often, when, and where. Okay, now look at the left-hand side. I've written that adverbs usually answer questions. If you use the chart to the right, there is going to be a section on your guided notes where you can create 4 of your own sentences using 1 adverb from each column. In each sentence, make sure you write what your adverb is describing. Is your adverb describing a verb, an adjective, or another adverb? Look at the example on the chart on the right. It says, the boy plays the drums loudly. Loudly is the adverb, and it actually is describing how he plays. Plays is a verb. It's an action. So in this particular example, the word loudly, which is an adverb, is describing how, which answers the question how, he plays, which is a verb. See the example on your guided notes and fill in the blanks where you're supposed to fill in the blanks. Use examples where you should be using your own examples. Most verbs express action. What are some action verbs that you can think of? For example, in this picture, there's a boy and he's actually riding a bike. Riding is a verb because it expresses the action that this boy is doing. Use your guided notes to write some more action verbs. Linking verbs can get kind of confusing. A linking verb is used to connect the subject of a sentence to more information about that subject. In the first example, I've written, Paul is weird. If Paul is acting weird, that means that you would think in your head, Paul equals weird. Later on, when we talk about parts of speech, I'm going to ask you to use the equals test to figure out if a verb is a linking verb. Paul is the subject of the sentence. The word is connects Paul to the word weird. Therefore, in this explanation, Paul equals weird. In the second explanation, I've written that flower smells good. If you use the equals test, the flower equals good. Flower being the subject and good being more information about the subject, then the word smells is the connector. The same applies for the example of pies are delicious. Pies equal delicious. Helping verbs can be confusing too. Helping verbs are just there to help give more information about the main verb. In the example, Anna can cook good pasta. The verb is cook. That's the action that Anna does when she cooks pasta. But the word can is actually helping the word cook by giving us more information. We're saying Anna can cook pasta, meaning she is able to cook pasta, not just Anna cooks good pasta. If you want to learn some more information about linking verbs and helping verbs, there are 2 really cool videos that I found online linked here. If you pause the video, you should be able to click on the linking verbs video and the helping verbs video to give you a better idea of what they mean. There are some spaces on your guided notes for you to write down information, definitions, and examples of linking and helping verbs. Interjections are usually words that show surprise, or if you're upset, or if you make a big deal about something. For example, wow, or if you are angry, or ouch if you hurt yourself. These are easy. Can you think of any more? There are spaces on your guided notes for you to fill this out. There's 2 kinds of prepositions that show place and prepositions that show time. It helps me to remember prepositions by saying things like, where can a cat go? To get you started, I've written a few examples. A cat can go under a box. A cat can be on a box, inside a box, beside a box, behind a box, on top of a box. Wherever a cat can go usually is considered a preposition. All your prepositions are in yellow. Prepositions can also show time. Take the class as an example. To get started, during the class, throughout the class. Can you think of 3 more examples? I've written them on your guided notes for you to fill in the blanks. Conjunctions are big. They're important because they connect 2 different either independent clauses or dependent clauses. Subordinating conjunctions connect a dependent clause to an independent clause, a sentence that can stand by itself. In the example I wrote, I drank 3 bottles of Gatorade. That is an independent clause. It stands on itself, by itself as a sentence. I drank 3 bottles of Gatorade. But I wanted to add something to that. I wanted to add more information. So I said, I drank 3 bottles of Gatorade after soccer practice. I added a dependent clause onto that sentence with a conjunction, a subordinating conjunction, the word after. Coordinating conjunctions are seen on the right. They usually connect 2 independent clauses. That's 2 sentences that stand alone. You can remember coordinating conjunctions because they make the acronym FANBOYS, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. If you look at the example on the left, it says, Maria wanted a PB&J. That is a sentence that can stand by itself. However, I want to connect 2 sentences with a coordinating conjunction. So I say, Maria wanted a PB&J, but she could not find it in the pantry. But is considered a coordinating conjunction in this example. If you look on your guided notes, there are some sections where you can do your own subordinating conjunctions, your own coordinating conjunctions, and then look at an example that I have created for you. Make sure you have completed everything on your guided notes. If you have to rewind the video or start again from the beginning, feel free to do so. If you have any questions about the guided notes or the parts of speech Prezi that you just watched, fill out the Google form located on the Ocelot's homework page. It's titled Parts of Speech Questions. Please remember to ask questions if you have them. Once you have finished the guided notes, you're done with the homework for tonight. Thanks for watching.